Hi, and welcome to Conversations. I'm Robin, your host. This year, in July, we welcomed the newest member of Kansas City, Kansas Community College, Dr. Michael Vitale, who came to us from Daytona State College, and we're here to hear about Dr. Mike Vitale's journey to Kansas City, Kansas Community College as our new Vice President for Academic Affairs.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Robin. It's good to be here.
Well,
Thank
tell
you
us
for
about.
inviting me today.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And I know you've been enjoying the atmosphere and the environment here at the college.
Absolutely.
And we're going to come back to that. But we want
Okay.
to talk about your journey from, is it
Monte
Vista,
Vista, in
Colorado, all the way to Daytona.
Daytona Beach, Florida.
Well, yes, tell us
that was
about
quite a
that.
journey. I actually, as a high school graduate, I went to school for a year in Gunnison at community college there. Left there, and then thought I was going to get drafted. Went in the Air Force.
Okay.
Spent 2 years on active duty in the Air Force, and due to overtraining, I was able to petition the Department of the Air Force for a discharge, which they granted, along with my full GI benefits. So I was able then to return to Colorado, to the University of Northern Colorado, where I got my bachelor's degree in biology. And from there, I chose to do graduate work, and I ended up at the University of South Florida in Tampa to do my graduate work, and I finished my doctorate at USF, and then from there I started teaching at Daytona. It was then Daytona Beach Community College.
Okay.
I taught anatomy and physiology and biology there for about 13 years, and then slowly started transitioning from faculty into administration, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that work very well.
How was that transition from faculty?
Actually,
to
it was kind of gradual. You have to have a little confidence, I think, in yourself and belief in that it's the right move, because at some point, at least in the community college system, you're asked to give up your faculty tenure.
Correct.
When you move into administration, unlike at some of the universities where you may move into a dean's position and you still maintain your faculty status or the opportunity to go back into the faculty. But that was, it wasn't guaranteed when I moved into administration. And so
Is that scary for a faculty member to move into administration to lose that status?
it is, but like I said, I think if you have confidence that you're going to work hard and willing to make good decisions and perform, at the level that you need to, you have to believe that you're not just going to be randomly, let go.
Okay.
And even at that level, there does have to be some cause. I mean, you can have your contracts non-renewed, but typically, if you're performing, you have to trust your supervisors that they have everybody's best interest, including the institutions, in mind with any decisions they make.
Okay.
So,
And your first position out of faculty was?
actually, it was the Dean of Arts and Sciences,
Okay.
and I did that for many years. And I had a great mentor at the time. I'd met him when I was first hired. He was the interim dean. He was really the chair of the mathematics department. My department chair and the science department, he were good friends. He and I got to know each other pretty well professionally over the years. And so when he became the vice president of academics, our dean had left to go to a vice president position in New Jersey. They offered me the position on an interim basis. We were getting ready for a reaccreditation visit, and so I took it through a year, and then they offered me the full-time position, and I took that. So,
What advice did he give you that you can really remember?
really, I think the best piece of advice that he gave me was, when you make a decision, every decision you make, a third of the people will like it, a third of the people won't care, and a third of the people won't like it. And every decision you make, the people in each third change.
Okay.
So, you don't worry about pleasing all the people with every decision you make. You have to make decisions that you believe are in the best interest of the institution, and you base those decisions on data. You know, you don't just go on gut feeling. You try and base it on something that you can point to and that you can draw from.
Okay. Okay, so how long were you in the dean's position there?
Probably about 9 years.
Okay.
To 9 years. Mm-hmm.
And then eventually you got to be VP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was good. I liked it there, but it was, you know, it was replacing Frank, and he had moved up as interim president, and we brought in a new president, and it just felt like it was time for me to move on professionally.
Okay.
I just felt that was important to enable me to continue to grow. And I thought that it was also important for the institution for them to look outside the Daytona state family, because we'd become a state college by that point, okay, to look for different ideas and new things. I think it was something that they needed, and something I needed to revitalize myself. And so, you know, I was watching a sports show the other day, and they were talking to Peyton Manning, who everyone knows the sports world has gone to the Denver Broncos from a long tenure at Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how, while that transition was hard, it helped him professionally because it revitalized him.
Okay.
And I feel that coming here has certainly helped revitalize me. It's you know, I'm looking at different opportunities and things that this institution can do to grow and help it. And I think I've got some experience that I can help grow and move this institution a little further along. It's not that it's in a bad position, it's
right,
just, I think when you bring in outside views, you get just a different perspective.
So when you are going through the thought process, you see
Mm-hmm.
the position opening, you have to talk to your family, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And how
Absolutely.
was your wife with this decision?
Well, she's from Missouri, and so she was very familiar with the Kansas City area. She always liked the Kansas City area. It's something I've heard from her almost since we met. And when we were looking to make the move, one of the things that we did take into consideration was where we would like to be, where we would like to move. You know, there's certain areas that would just be so foreign to both of us that it was even more frightening. You know, neither one of us has ever lived in the Northeast. I visited up there once with my college roommate in grad school, who was from the Jamestown, New York area. That was just a short, 2-week break over Christmas one year. So there was a lot of uncertainty and concern there. Moving to Kansas City, on the other hand, was something that it was to a part of the country that we were both somewhat familiar with. It got her much closer to her family in Springfield, which was important at the time, as her mother is getting older, and it's nice that she's only a little over a 3-hour drive away, rather than half a day traveling by air to get there. So, but it was also a good professional move. I did a lot of research about Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and what you could learn from it from the web and so forth. And I just felt that it would be a good opportunity for me. And so it was exciting.
We're going to take a break real quick, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the move and everything to Kansas City.
I'll be glad to do that.
We'll be right back after this.
My team depends on me.
And my team is 50,000 strong.
This is what it feels like to be part of a team.
A winning team.
The action team.
Get in on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
Hi, and welcome back to Conversations. I'm Robin, and we are here with our new Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Michael Vitale. We ended up talking about the move to Kansas City. But I wanted to back up and talk about the application process and what was going through your mind when you saw the position open and the conversation of moving back.
Okay.
Or moving here to Kansas City, sorry.
Well, my wife and I had already talked about, that, and she understood that I was looking, and we were, we'd always talk about the positions that we felt we wanted to apply for, because I think it wasn't just me applying, it was also her in many ways, because she had to be on board with the college and where it would involve us moving to.
Okay.
And so, when I saw this position, it really attracted me right away. I knew the area, I knew it was where it was, and she knew the Kansas City area. So we felt very comfortable from that perspective moving here. What I learned about the institution made me excited to apply. So, of course, I submitted the application materials as required, and then waited anxiously.
All right.
Got the call for a video interview, which was a little, I'm very technologically, but I'd never done a video interview like that.
Okay.
I'd done some video conferencing, and you just, you don't know, because it's a little different, even though you could see the individuals. They were on a computer monitor, and so you couldn't really see a lot of details. It was a little harder to read body language,
Right.
but fortunately the broadcast signal provided me the opportunity to see everyone. So you had a better opportunity to do that than I thought I might coming in. So it worked out really well.
Okay.
We had a little glitch at the first. We were trying to Skype, and I kept seeing this phone call coming in from some Blue Jeans thing, and I thought, oh, this must be somebody's got my Skype number, and they're just, so I kept denying it. It turned out that was the company that was handling the video.
Right.
Okay, so they called, and we got things worked out, but after that little glitch, I think it went pretty well. And then I waited anxiously, to hear through the process. They had told me that it was going to take a week or more, because I think there were a lot of events taking place around that time frame.
Right.
I can't remember if it was the actual face-to-face interview or that interview where you were starting to get into the close of the spring semester and graduation and all those events. Then when I got the call to come out and interview, I was very excited to get that. I actually came out on Saturday. My interviews were all on Monday, but I wanted to come out, get a chance to spend time on the campus, kind of somewhat incognito,
Right.
to see it, explore the area a bit more, and I wanted to make sure that I was here in case there was any glitch with the airlines. You just never know, and so it was important enough to me to make sure that I was here a day or two early, so that I didn't have that anxiety flying in on Sunday and,
Right.
and worried about it. So it worked out very well. I got to meet one of your campus police officers, because he was amazed that somebody was walking around taking pictures of the campus.
Okay.
But I wanted to send pictures back to my wife so that they could see that it was a very beautiful campus, how nice it was. We talked about whether she should come with me, and we decided that if she came, I wouldn't be able to concentrate as well.
Okay.
So she stayed at home in the Daytona area, and I explored the area and got fairly comfortable with it. And I felt really comfortable almost from when I got here with the area. It was easy to get around in. Everyone was friendly and helpful. And then when I came on campus to interview that day, you kept me busy, but everybody was very gracious and very, very friendly. And I really got the impression that whether it was, that everybody was friendly towards the candidates that were coming in. I know that there was another candidate here that same day, and so we were kind of moving around
And
missing each other.
Right.
But it was a very positive experience for me. I felt very, very comfortable. getting the chance to meet Dr. Givens face to face and
Right.
sit down and have a conversation with her. I'd read about her and her background. I knew she was relatively new to the college as well.
Correct.
So I thought we could work very well together with our different experiences, kind of coming from opposite coasts.
When
to
you came
Kansas City.
for the interview,
Mhm.
personally, did you feel that this was your job?
I wouldn't say that I felt that it was my job, but I felt very comfortable.
Okay.
I felt at home here. Whether that's the same as, I didn't leave feeling, oh, I've got the good job, it's mine, you know, because you just never know.
No, you
But
don't.
I did feel really comfortable about it. I thought the interviews went well. I thought, you know, that the forums,
I was gonna ask you
having
about
having lectured as many years as I did in large lecture rooms like that, walking into that classroom for the forum, I just felt right at home.
that. Okay.
It was designed very much like the classrooms that we use for anatomy and physiology. So, and it's primarily a nursing classroom.
Right.
So it just felt comfortable there.
Okay.
And I thought that people were asking questions that expressed a genuine concern about the institution, that they were looking for a candidate that would help the institution grow.
Okay.
Not that it was in a bad place, but you always want to be able to grow and do different things and new exciting things. So
Okay.
I felt that was my vibe that I felt, if you will.
Well, I know that everybody was impressed
Thank you.
with you. Of course, naturally, you got the job.
Mhm.
So, and I know everyone was impressed. What was it like getting that phone call?
Oh, that was very exciting to get the phone call. I think my wife's like, oh, we really are going to move, you know. Then we went into high gear because, you know, until you know you're going to move, it's difficult to, you know, you don't really want to start packing per
Right.
se, because if nothing panned out, then we would still be, you know, still be in Daytona. But at that point, we were able to kind of go into fast forward gear. I was fortunate that I had a lot of leave time built up, so I was able to actually be on leave a big part of the month of June to do the packing. I still went in some to help in the transition, you know, with Daytona State, because I didn't want them to just, you know, I wasn't just going to walk out the door and leave
Right.
them in the lurch, and working with the folks that were being put in place to kind of manage that academic function till they could go through a search process.
Right.
It wasn't a surprise to the president at the time. She knew I was looking for positions. So people knew I was looking, but even then it was kind of, you know, oh, you are leaving,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So we went through that whole packing ordeal, and then of course it was coming back here to kind of look at housing and going back, and I think that was about the time Cerner was bringing in a group of people, and houses were pretty much flying off the market here in
Wow.
Wyandotte County.
Okay.
And so it became a little, you know,
A little challenge.
challenge as the days in June started ticking by into that. You know, originally they'd wanted me to start July 1st, and I was looking at the calendar and I was like, wait a minute, July 1st, you were on a 4-day work week in the summer,
True.
which meant that, and I think the 4th was on a Thursday. So I talked to Dr. Givens and I said, you know, that's a really short week. How about if I came on the 8th instead? And when she realized that, you know, it was, you know, first of all, it was a 4-day work week. Thursday was the 4th holiday, so it was going to be 3 days and then a long holiday. So we had agreed that I would start on July 8th. And so I actually lived in Candlewood Suites, which was a very comfortable place to stay for about a month, almost
Okay.
2 months, you know, before we were able to buy a house and close on it and move in. And,
Okay.
that was scary.
That was scary.
That was scary.
Now, how
I
was
mean,
that scary?
well, it was just scary coordinating the move, the physical coordination of the move. I've got to admit that I've got a 19-year-old daughter that's made the move with us, and she was back in Daytona, really helping do a lot of the final packing. She and I had gotten all of the non-essential stuff packed before I had to leave, but there were still the things that you couldn't pack until you got closer and closer to that final move, things that you still needed on a day-to-day basis. And I got to admit that she did a great job doing that.
We're going to take a break and come back and finish talking
All
about
right,
the move,
we'll
because
do
I want
that.
to hear about
Okay.
how the dogs did.
Okay.
All right, so we'll be back after this short break.
Is your body holding you back?
Where do you think you're going?
I want to go running.
Not with that knee, you're not.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
Let's not pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my
and
rules.
regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
I'll take it from here.
Hi, and welcome back to Conversations. I'm Robin, and we're here talking with the Vice President for Academic Affairs here at Kansas City, Kansas Community College, Dr. Mike Vitale. We ended that last segment talking about the move.
Yes,
And
we
I
did.
know that you have 4 big dogs.
Yeah, 4 yellow labs.
Okay. Tell us how they handled the move.
They did quite well. It's the mom and 3 of her pups that I was kind of conned into keeping by my wife and daughter. And, you know, they travel pretty well. We had a van because we had a yellow lab. We got our first yellow lab back in the early 2000s, and he always traveled everywhere with us. We stopped flying on vacations and started driving with a van. And so what we decided to do, because there was not only the dogs that we had to move, but there were things that we just needed to move with ourselves.
Right.
I have a small trailer that I've always pulled with our van to put our luggage and that in, so it's not inside the van. So we had space for a dog and 2 kids and 2 adults and minimal materials and stuff in the car other than what we really needed. So what my wife and I did was we rented a second van, and so she and my daughter ended up driving our van with the dogs in it, and I ended up driving the other van with other stuff that we had to take with us that wouldn't fit in the trailer that we put in the back of that van to bring with us. And then, you know, it was rented one way, so we turned it in here in Kansas City when we got here. But it actually worked out very well. We'd made this trip from the Daytona area to Springfield, Missouri many times, so we pretty much knew the route to take, how to get here. I have a brother in St. Louis, so we'd driven up there a few times. So we kind of knew about how far we could travel on our own and with the dogs. And it's really very easy now to find hotels that are pet friendly.
Sure.
And that's a big plus. You know, one would only allow 2 dogs per room, so we got 2 rooms, which is fine. And then, you know, we separated the dogs, and they did real well on the move. They, you know, they'd ride in the van, and when we'd stop, you take longer breaks so that they can walk and do some exercising.
And we're not talking about little dogs. These are
no, they're yellow labs, and they're I think the smallest is around 60 pounds, the biggest in just over 70 pounds, so they're in that area. But, you know, they all get along well. They sleep on top of each other. And what we did was with our van is we took the 2 center seats out that were our bucket seats and let the movers move those with all our household goods. So we left the bench seat in the back, and then we had the big space between the front seat and the back seat where they could lay on the floor and have more room to stretch out. So it worked out really well.
Okay. So you guys get to Kansas City and you love it.
Absolutely.
You love the area that you're in, and of course, your first day here officially on the campus. I think everybody was eager to meet you.
Yeah, it was. I tell you what, it took me a while. I'm
Yeah.
still learning people's names.
Right.
I can find my way around the buildings much better now than I could. I used to spend time just walking around, just getting lost so I could find my way back.
Right.
'Cause that's the way you really learn, I think. And same with the city. I mean, we did so much house hunting on our trips here. And even after I had started working here, my wife and daughter came back to look at some houses that we were considering. And so, you know, we had a contract on a house, and so we'd set up the closing date. So that was kind of the trigger for the actual move itself.
Okay.
And I have to admit, it was a little frightening trying to line up a moving company to make the move, because you go online and it didn't matter who the moving company was. If you searched, you found, you know, people with great experiences, people with horror stories. So my concern was that they wouldn't show up on time, you know, to load our household goods, and that would delay me getting back here because it was right around the start of the fall term, and so I was anxious about that. I was anxious about the move, but we were very fortunate. We had a very accommodating moving company. The driver that loaded our stuff was very friendly, very aware of the stress that we were under, and helped try quite a bit. And you know, they loaded when they said they would, and they were here to unload when they said they would. So it worked out really well. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. It worked out so well that we were really happy. Now we're going through the unpacking.
That's
All the essentials are unpacked. Everything that's still packed are the things that aren't essential to day-to-day living, and you start asking yourself, did we really need this box of yet? But a lot of things are like pictures and keepsakes that you always want to move, and you just have to figure out, you know, how you're gonna transition some of those from their boxes to a more permanent location. So.
Okay, we're very happy to have you here, and I know
I'm very happy to be here. It's been everything I could have asked for and more. I think it's been.
Now, let me ask you this: how many people that you've met that know about your voiceover experience?
I don't think very many at all know about it, because I don't really talk a lot about it. I talked with you about it because I found out you were doing the show, but. Yeah, that was something when I met my wife. She has a master's in vocal performance. She's a singer. And she talked me into taking a speaking class with her, where they were kind of talking about voiceovers and projection techniques. She convinced me that it would help me when I was lecturing. Because even as a graduate student, I was at USF, I was teaching large classes with 150 students in them, and no microphones.
So you actually got to do some
halls.
commercials, right?
I did do some commercials in the Tampa area before I finished my graduate work and moved to Daytona. I did some commercials. Yeah. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. I bet that was.
It was.
Took you out of this
It took you out of the sciences, and even though I love biology and I love the sciences, I really believe there's an important part in the arts that we all need to embrace and explore that. Some people are definitely more talented than I am. I'm not going to give anybody a run for the money on the stage, or whether it's a acting role or certainly not a singing role. But I do enjoy going to live performances. I think they're very enriching, and my wife was doing a lot of dinner theater when I met her, so I saw a lot of plays. Met a lot of interesting people along the way.
Well, we have a lot of that here in Kansas City.
So I'm looking forward to it, yes.
And we're looking forward to
the blues and the jazz here, yes.
Yes. Well, thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Robin, for inviting me.
I
appreciate it.
are happy that you're here.
Well, so am I. We're very happy.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today on Conversations, and we will see you later.